podcast for those who suffer, which is everyone.
It's a space where we can speak honestly about what it feels like to be in desolate places without losing hope.
Welcome to In the Thicket.
Welcome back, everyone. It's been a minute since our last episode, but this week we're going to be talking about what it's like to be in the in-between. So that time where you can kind of see maybe the end of things, even if it's a little bit fuzzy, or the coming of something, even if it's not here yet, and being in that in-between place and what it means to be in that place and how we can see the Lord in it. God bless y'all. Oh, Canada.
That's right. We don't have to. Welcome? Nobody has rights to that, so we can sing that.
That's right.
That's true. We can sing "O Canada."
Exactly. Yeah, you guys can sing the American national anthem if you want.
I know it because I learned it in choir when I was a kid because we had to sing for hockey games sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I still. So we were just talking about the Olympics. Well, specifically hockey.
Yes.
But I was just saying that, because I've been now living in the States for almost 5 years, but that means there's only been 2 Winter Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I still have this feeling whenever people are talking about, or on the news or something like, oh, American ski or this, I'm like, why are they talking about the Americans? I just get really confused. It's like, oh, right, because I live in this country.
Welcome to In the Thicket, everybody. Just in case this is your first episode. I'm Erin, and I am joined by co-hosts.
I am Nicole.
And I'm Rachel. And
and that's us. And we are part of the reason we're talking about this of the national things is because all 3 of us are Canadian, but I, Erin, am the lone person who is actually living in Canada at the moment because Nicole is in Nashville and Rachel is in DC. And so now it's because our official analytics from Spotify say that now we officially have more listeners in the US than in Canada. Anyways, so when we're talking about the Olympics, then it's high stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love our American listeners, but dude, we're still cheering for Canada freely.
Yeah. It's a really strange experience to be in that boat over here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in some ways I feel slightly less competitive because I said this to you guys before. If we lose, there's no one to sympathize with me. So I need to tone it down for myself, for my own mental health, of being like, Rachel, you need to be a better loser than you normally are.
Because there is no one who will wallow in the grief with you.
There was no one. Exactly.
That's very sad.
Unless you called me and we could wallow together.
That's
Lord,
true.
But then
totally
that's true. The Lord.
There's a big
everyone
debate
knows
on who
he's
the Lord
Canadian.
is rooting for. That's right. Exactly. Exactly. I know. I love the thing. I keep so I'll be watching the hockey game and then I'll just be shouting periodically. So it's just been disturbances upon disturbances in the house. The cat will run away. My mom will come in. She's like, what's happening? And I'm like, but then she's like, oh, you're watching hockey. That's fine.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I had a friend. So I got YouTube TV just so that I could watch the Olympics because I don't have any other way of watching it. And
CBC
it
Gem.
records...
You can watch it on CBC Gem.
Can't
we can't.
Yeah.
You can't?
I don't have any way to watch the Olympics because I haven't paid for anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I the YouTube TV app records whatever I want it to record. And sometimes you can't watch during the day. And primetime is playing stuff, but that's not what the events I want to watch or whatever. And so we had a little get together yesterday and we watched figure skating happened a few days ago, the finals of everything, but we watched it and none of us had seen it yet. And it was so, we were joking about how nail biting figure skating is. You think of it as this beautiful kind of, there's all these these twists and these pirouettes and stuff. Yeah. But it's so intense. You're like, oh my gosh, he's about to jump. Is he gonna make it? Is she gonna make it?
Yeah.
And it's so
Well, and the pairs
it's a
too.
double. Oh.
And okay, he's gonna throw her onto the ice now. Hopefully that all works out.
I know those ones where they just fling each other.
I know.
So wild.
I'm just waiting for the time where somebody does the role reversal and then the woman bulks up but nobody knows it and then throws the man across the ice in a little twirling thing.
The new gender fight. Women are like, I want to throw the man across the. I don't know. Oh God, no.
Be no. I don't want to throw anyone.
Absolutely.
That sounds terrifying.
It's actually really, like, not to make it serious, but it's actually, ice dance, I think, is one of my favorite events, which is like in the figure
absolutely.
skating umbrella, but it's not as nerve wracking because there's no jumps, but it's just as physically impressive because it's like the lifts that they do, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And I was talking to friends of mine, I was like, these two events really do showcase like men and women at their peak as men and women. You know, it's like very like both are very strong, both are contributing really, you know, equally, and not in mathematically equally, but both have the 100%
in their own way
in the in what's happening, and then together, and it's just like and it's so, and they really have to be there for each other in order for the whole thing to work out. It's so beautiful to think about when you watch it. But
I do have to say I like the Summer Olympics better. I'm not gonna lie. I know.
Okay.
I know. It
You're
feels
crazy.
Blasphemous to
the
say.
Canadian take.
It's
All right.
the Canadian.
Interesting.
Canadian hot
We do
take.
way better at the Winter Olympics, but
We
it's
do.
I think it's because I love all the pool stuff at the Summer
fair.
Olympics. Like I love diving is ridiculous, especially because when they show you like the freeze frames on people's form and things like that, the faces of the people are like like they're like, it's like they're like in a wind tunnel and their
So
skin
you like
is
it for the
pushed
comic
back.
effect?
I do,
basically.
yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of, actually, I do like curling for that too, though, because curling is excellent for the comedic. But like, hurry, hard! And then if you freeze frame it, I did that one time. I went to the Briars when it was in Ottawa with my dad, and then I took like pictures, like close up pictures of their faces. They all look absolutely constipated all the time. It's the best.
Oh my gosh. There's a roommate of mine yesterday joking though, like the Summer Olympics, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get in a pool, and the Winter Olympics is like, I'm gonna climb 50 feet above the height of the Statue of Liberty and fly off of it in skis, and it's just like, crazy. Like I'm gonna like on a tiny sled thing with like blades on the bottom, I'm just gonna whip down a tunnel of ice for like
so many things.
So
You're like
crazy.
bobsledding, luge, skeleton, like you might die.
Yep.
Like speed skating, especially short track, you might die. Like all of these things are like
like
just, which I know that all the memes are saying that this year, but it is
I know, that's right.
funny.
That's what she was saying. It was like it was memes, but
I
anyways,
think I don't think it was here,
so
but I
old
think
when
it was,
I say that. It's on the memes, guys.
It's on the memes. The memes.
The memes. That's right. I think it was the U.S. team. I watched a video where it was their 4-man bobsled, and so then they started going down the track, and then they started getting in. The first guy got in. Everybody else fell out, and so it's just this lone guy who doesn't even have brakes where he is.
Yes,
just hurtling down the thing.
Oh my god!
And then
so
like it was so
scary.
impressive how he just kept his head, and then he just at the right time just scooched right back, and then pulled the brakes, and then
like they must train for that, like.
They
possibility,
must.
Like risk management. Like
they've
got to be. That's true. Yeah,
because
but you never think that you're gonna have to execute.
It's
in
like
that
being
way,
on a plane, right? It's like you do the safety on the plane, like just, and it's odds are it's never gonna happen, but just in case it does, you darn sure want to know where that life vest is. Yeah,
I know. I think about that now every time I fly, because I fly so much, and I'm like, whatever, you know, the same old, same old.
Right.
But now I'm like, I have very bad long-term memory and like very great short-term memory. So I'm like, Rachel, pay freaking attention, because if something does happen, you should know the closest exit to your seat, like at the very least.
Yeah, at the very least, right?
Yeah.
Know where your life jacket is. Know where the closest exit is.
Yeah, that's right. So, know who's the weakest on the plane, so you can trample them on the way out. That's my thing. Yeah, it's very Catholic.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So listen, today we are talking about hello, welcome back. It's been a couple of months since you last heard from it. It's been a little while.
It's been a bit.
Yeah, we had some plans. We were talking about plans, and I think our plans have
so many
morphed
plans
and changed.
That's right. But there's still, emails out to people, and we do still have plans. So
we do have plans.
The Lord just might have slightly different plans.
That's right.
That's
exactly.
true.
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, Nicole is in her 3rd trimester of pregnancy. Rachel is about to go to France to study there. I'm doing nothing, but I mean, that's
you're never doing nothing. That is like always.
I know.
It's like Erin's version of doing nothing is that she's like heading up like 7 committees and like doing,
like worldwide something. Or maybe writing a book on the side, possibly.
Yeah, which I know for a fact
it's so
you are, in
ridiculous.
fact, doing some crazy things. But
It's funny because it sounds like, but I mean, really, most of the time I just sit around and eat bagels. So that's just to throw some things into the mix every once
But are
in a
they
while.
good bagels?
They're good bagels. Yeah, they're from
Okay.
Farm Boy,
Question.
which is a
Okay.
lovely
Oh, yeah.
store here, and they are very good bagels. So yeah. Okay, so our topic for today, we wanted to talk about when we're in the in between. So like kind of like
Mhm.
when you're like not when you don't even know what's happening in the future, but like when you kind of do maybe know a little bit about something, even if it's not super clear, but it's not there yet, and you're not like you're started on the way, but you're just in that in the in between. That's not necessarily the most fun place to be.
yeah, yeah.
Also, if I sound stuffed up today, it's because I'm stuffed up today. So it's not your ears, it's my
Accurate.
nose.
Yeah.
Yes. So what about you guys? What are your like what comes to mind when you're thinking about being in the in between?
Mm-hmm. You go first, Rach. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, the most obvious one is my vocation. I'm still not in my vocation, and I mean, I don't have like this is something where you were saying like you might know, and I'm like I don't know, maybe I'll die before I'm in my vocation. That's possible. There are some saints, and hopefully I will go to heaven when I die and also be at least little s saint in that sense. But I'm like, if you're trying to live a holy life, maybe you die before you enter your vocation. That's possible. But if you live an ordinary, hopefully holy life, you usually have a vocation of some kind. And so I'm like, I have a sense of like that does seem to be true in my like I don't have hopelessness about that. I'm like I'm sure the Lord has a plan for my life and a vocation that he's like a small v vocation, that he or big v vocation that he is calling me to. But it's not happening yet and it's not here yet. And so I'm in the in between, which we've talked a lot about this in different ways on our podcast, but
Can you remind people just in case they're new listeners about your sense of your vocation?
yeah, so I'm in my late 30s and I feel called to marriage still. And it's something, I mean, I sort of evaluate it every few years and be like, hey, Lord, is this what you're asking me to what you're asking me to pursue? And so far the answer is yes. And yeah, so I have a relative amount of peace about that, but there's nothing actually happening in my life to further it along in a very immediate way or direct way currently. So, and for a long
AKA
time,
Rachel
like
is single and she's
yeah,
really
that's
beautiful.
right. Yeah,
and
thank you. So if you know any men who
yeah.
want to date me, I don't know, they don't know me at all, but you could send them the podcast. There's 5 seasons.
You took our word for it. She's pretty great.
Yes. Yeah.
And it does feel like the Lord is been very purpose. Like I don't feel, lost in the sense that like forgotten by God or that my life is not I've like missed the boat or something like that. It just feels like this is a very unusual path that he's called me on. And so, I'm walking it, but has been a very long period of the in between for me, because even if I've been dating or been in relationships, and it's never gotten to a point where I'm like, this is a very serious, contender or serious. It's never gotten to that point. And also, even if I'm in a relationship, it's still not the answer. So it's like, it's been a very, very long time without an answer. And and I think, so that's one. And then what's interesting is I'm working on my PhD in theology now, and I live in DC, and it's awesome. And I have a great community of people here, and I'm so happy. I'm so grateful for them and my family. And my life has all these bits that I'm so grateful for, but none of them are permanent bits. Like in the way of like, I have my family is always home to me in a really weird, real way, but I don't live with them. My life is not with them in this physical sense. I have my friends who I will always have. I will always keep these friendships. I'm so grateful for them, but we're all doing our own thing,
Yeah. And you live far from your friends. Yeah.
I live far from some of my friends. Yeah, a lot of my closest friends are in Canada, and even my closest friends here, like we're all in different stages of like, some of them are married, some of them are, we're all looking for work, and people are moving, and that's normal. Like that's normal for the kind of work that I'm doing. Like being in a PhD program is a transitory kind of thing. It's not a permanent thing. And then even my work, I'm like, I'm excited. I'm excited to write my dissertation. I'm excited to be in that process, but it's going to end, which is, it's nice to know that I have something that I'm supposed to be focused on for the next 2 years. So that's the most permanent thing that I've got going, but it is going to end. And then I don't know where I'm going after that. And so it's just like, my life is just filled with question marks and on every part. And that has been a very interesting, it's been that way for a very long time, like over a decade. And close to 2 decades, honestly, basically since my undergrad. So it's just interesting. I've learned some skills of like, how does the Lord call a person? Because it's not normal. Most people don't have to do what I'm doing in terms of this sense of impermanence, you know? So I've had to learn a lot about how do I walk with the Lord uniquely in this? How do I find some stability? And how do I let go of the need for stability, which is a constant, giving up? Because I don't think it's a bad thing to need stability. I mean, he made us limited. He made us human. We do need it, you know, but sometimes it's just not there in the way you would want it. And I think I've had to learn how to let go of that expectation and really live the in-between. Like what is it? I don't know. Yeah. What is it? And I have more thoughts about it, but that's kind of the tee up, I think, for me is my vocation, but also my whole life, honestly.
Yeah.
Is a little bit of the in-between. I live in the in-between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Nicole?
Yeah. I mean, I think my in-between right now is definitely, there's like the in-between of being pregnant and waiting for a baby to come, and all of the things that you're like, okay, I'm going to prepare for this and I'm going to prepare for that. And yet there's so many unknowns and nothing is guaranteed. And like, there's just so much with that. And then there's the in-between of like, for so many years, like my call and the things where the Lord has directed me has been very much like my career. And like, I've been a professor now for almost 5 years, which is wild. And all of these things that have been just so life-giving and so like, just good in my life. And that like my meeting Nathan has come through me pursuing like my PhD. And so like, that's how I met Nathan, and all of these things where like the Lord has led me through my pursuit of my career to the various things that he's called me to. And now I'm having a baby and it's like, okay, how is this even going to look like? What is this going to look like? And it's going to be different. And so just that unknown of like, yeah, what is that going to mean for me to be a professor and doing these things that I still feel called to do, and to be a mother and wanting to do that fully and full-heartedly. And it's just like this big kind of question mark. And there's certain things where I'm like, okay, I can see how these things are going to play together. And I can see how like already that I feel like it's been really helpful. But yeah, there's just like a lot of unknowns in that take time to, you know, like everyone, like there's the true thing that pregnancy, like, oh my gosh, like we've wanted to have children for so long and it's finally happening. And like, that's so beautiful. And pregnancy is wild. And it's just like crazy that this is real. And it's so beautiful. And like all of these things that are just amazing, you know, and it's like your life is actually just changing. And you have to like now adapt to this change. Like, I think I've said to people, like, I have for years, like since I was like really in undergrad, like even, I don't know, like 18 years old, and I went to university for the first time and I looked at professors teaching and I was like, that's what I want to do. That's it. That's my thing. And I just kind of knew that this is going to be in my life. Or I don't know if I knew, but like I had this goal or whatever, however you want to call it. And career stuff has just seemed to always fall into place and become clear, different grad school stuff. And with motherhood, I don't feel like I have a template for how that looks for me as someone who also has a career, because I don't have many of those examples in my life. I have a lot of women who like stopped working when they had kids, which is beautiful. And like, I love, there's a part of me that's like, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. That sounds great. Let's just do that. And yet I don't know if that's what the Lord is going to call me to. And so it's just this big unknown of what is this going to look like? And I don't have a plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just being okay with being like this, that's the question. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
gonna
sitting with it.
sit
Yeah.
with that for now, the next little while, and just kind of see how it all pans out. Like,
It's so funny. Yeah, I think for me the in between right now is kind of like I felt like a little for a little while like there's some kind of greater freedom that the Lord is bringing me into, just like healing wise on like the inner landscape of my heart, you know, which is very beautiful. And the so we had Sister Miriam on the podcast before, which is lovely, but I highly recommend if anybody is kind of looking for something like this. There's the John Paul II Healing Center that she's part of with Dr. Bob Schutz, who's amazing, wonderful. Like they're both totally wonderful. And so they have healing the whole person retreats that they do, which is great. And they also have a healing the whole person retreat for men and women religious. So I sent them an email and I was like, hey, could I like go to this thing? And they were like, well, probably is not a good fit because a lot of it is about like the vows and constitutions and horarium of like very specific to religious life. And if people are new, I'm a consecrated virgin. So my life is like, it's consecrated virginity lived in the world. So it's like very different in terms of context than religious life. So I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. However, part of their mission is to see a healing and renewal of priesthood and consecrated life, priesthood and religious life and consecrated life in the world, because they very firmly believe that spiritual motherhood and spiritual fatherhood is like really essential for the church in that way, which is very beautiful. So they feel called to that. So anyway, so they give like a free, like if you're a consecrated person or whatever, you can go and attend these things for free. So it was lovely. But I had, even when I kind of registered for it, I was like, okay, well, I have like 4 meetings at the same time. So I'm basically just, because you have access to it for 2 weeks after. So I was like, okay, how can I actually do this that I'm going to be like with the Lord and available to the Lord? So I'm doing the actual thing at the end of February with the videos, but even just like tuning into some of the stuff while it was happening, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is good. Like this feels like it's the Lord doing something. And then I had such a beautiful, beautiful 8-day retreat a few years ago. That was just like the most full of grace retreat that I've had. And the priest who directed me on that retreat is available for my 8-day in May.
Oh,
and
great.
he's just so wonderful. Like all the priests that I've had direct me have been wonderful. But he just kind of understands how the Lord works in me really well.
Yeah.
So I feel like all of those kind of things, like I feel right now, what I feel like is that all of the insides of me are like this puzzle that is totally scattered. Like they're all there, and it's like parts are kind of together, and then there are some things that are not, and then so it's kind of like I know the Lord is doing something, and I know that he's bringing greater freedom somehow, but it's really uncomfortable to be in the like place where I'm like, I mean, you know what it's like whenever you're like, there's some internal thing that you're kind of going over with the Lord or whatever. It's just difficult. And then for me, because I have fibromyalgia, part of the thing is like just the fatigue of it. So it's
like, because internal work is actually quite tiring.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'm feeling like tired and depleted, and I don't even know how the Lord is going to accomplish whatever he's going to accomplish because I feel like I have nothing. But also I feel like a gift in it, because in some ways it's like he's brought me to a place where I really have nothing. Like I can't, and I'm like good. Like I'm not like in need of a mental asylum, but like, you know what I mean? Like I just, my resources are like, so I'm like, okay, well, you have to do everything. Like you just have to do everything, because the things that you've called me to do, I'm still doing. I'm still working on consecrated virginity. I'm still doing all of those kind of things. There's still fruit there. He's still giving the grace to do those things. So very clearly, like, you know, but like interiorly, I'm like, I got nothing. Like, you have to do everything.
I think that's like a key, actually. Like I was like, that's also, you know, I wouldn't have thought to articulate it that way, but I think in the things that I've learned over the last whatever 10-15 years of the in between, it's been just kind of accepting that poverty. Like part of it is just like, okay, it's like you create more dissonance in yourself when you're like, oh my gosh, but I have to figure out, like, I gotta have something, like I gotta figure something out. And part of it is just saying like, okay, like you said, God is giving me graces to do the things he's actually calling me to. So to receive those graces and live those things as well as fully as I can. And then where he's allowed me to be quite poor, the graces are very different. They're not the graces of like acting and doing things and accomplishing things. The grace that I'm being invited to is surrender. That's the grace. And it's the hardest thing, but it really is. It's like, I don't know, for me, it's like, it's absolutely the key, because if I can accept that I have nothing here and just accept that in the context that God has something to give me, and that it's not a poverty of like abandonment or something, you know, like he's abandoned me here. I think that's what's really tough about the in-between, is that's the temptation. It's like the temptation to feel abandoned in my poverty. Like I don't have the tools to deal with this. I know it's coming, or I don't know what's coming. And I feel afraid because I don't have anything to show up with to this thing, you know?
Right.
And that's not what he's calling us to. He's like, this is not a poverty. I'm not abandoning you. It's actually just, I'm readying you.
It's a new way of being almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have something, I've given you something in this.
Yeah.
Over a mysterious amount of time.
I feel like I can relate to that in the sense of like, when I think of the way that I've lived my life in terms of career, a lot of it has been, and I think this was a grace, but it has felt like it was very goal oriented. And I'm like, well, I want to teach some days. It means I have to have this many years of like full-time work. And then I need to do grad school, but I want to do it with, and this is where, but it was very like strategic, and it was very like, I mean, when you're in university, like you're trying to organize yourself and get good grades and all these, right? So it was very like goal oriented. And it felt like I was having to plan a lot, and yet it felt like the Lord was like equipping me to do that. Right. Which is good. So I think there's nothing wrong with that inherently. Right. And now, but I've had to learn a totally different way of being, which is like you guys are saying, this more of a receptive way of like, there is only so much I can plan for, because the unknowns are more than I can. There's more variables here that I can possibly plan for. And I have to change my attitude from being like, okay, well, let me strategize and figure this out, to just being like, well, let me be open to what's presented, and like do the things I can to prepare for the baby, and all of that kind of stuff, and like think about work, and like fill out the right forms for maternity leave, whatever. Like you have to do the things, but then once you've done those things, to just be like, okay, like even like on a really practical level, I'm like, I can prepare all I want for like a natural birth and like, breathing techniques and whatever, but like I can't control what baby's gonna do, and like
what's gonna happen.
What can happen? I could end up with a C-section. I'm a bit older. There's different risk factors and stuff. And how do you, to be able to, can I be at peace with however the Lord chooses to like help me bring this child into the world? Like, and that, so there's these different things that I'm like, okay, to prepare, and to also just be like, okay, Lord, how are you going to lead me in this? And like, or different things. But there's one, I'll just give an example of how I feel like the Lord does step in and say, and like, even just from my situation of like, where he's showing me like, no, like I'm blessing both of these elements of your life. So I got randomly invited to like, do a little talk at a symphony, out like in the States, in November. And they reached out to me because they want to do like this music in the brain kind of night. And they kind of found me, and they were like, this would be a good person for it, whatever, which is cool. But I was just kind of like, okay, like I'm going to have a 6-month-old, and like, I don't know exactly how this would work. Like, do I bring the baby? Do I like see if my in-laws can come and help Nathan if she's like, I don't know. And what's she going to do? I haven't met her yet. Like, I don't know. But I like talked to a couple people, and I was like, I'm going to say yes to this because it just feels like, I don't know. I wanted to do this thing. It sounds cool. So I said yes to it, but without knowing exactly how this is going to work out. But I had a conversation with the organizer last week, and I just told, and it was good. And he was like, telling me kind of what's involved. And I was saying, just negotiating, talking about how much they're going to pay me and things like that. And he at one point said, I'm kind of surprised that you like said yes to this, because I haven't even given you a concrete date yet. And so I was like, well, here's some context, is that I'm planning to actually be on maternity leave in the fall. So I'm rather flexible. It's just that I'm going to have a baby. And so I haven't quite figured out. And he was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, because I was very transparent. I said, look, I've thought of maybe bringing her, or maybe if my husband's at home with her and we can figure that out. And he was just like, well, you don't want to leave your 6-month-old. Like, that's, and he's like, I'm a grandfather, and he's like, my kids lived with me for a bit, and like, that's such a precious time. He's like, what if we just paid for your husband and flew him out too? He's like, we're already paying for your hotel.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just like, because I was way too shy to even ask that.
Yeah.
But he was just like, oh no, this is not a huge cost for our bottom line. Like, we can absolutely do this for you. So they're going to fly both of us out.
Wow.
So that we can bring the baby, which is incredible.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And it's not something that I could have like
yeah.
anticipated would happen or be offered, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just, it felt like this little thing where the Lord is like, yeah, no, like we can do this. Like,
yeah. I feel like that's like the creativity of the Lord. Like, like that just, it always astounds me every time he does something or he brings something about, because it's like, he can work around my best laid plans, whether those plans are for good or whether they're defenses. And like the walls in my heart, like he just can do whatever. So there's also kind of like a part of there's like a part of the waiting that's like almost like an excitement, because I know that that's true, and because he can do that, and because it's always beautiful. But also there's like fear in that, because I'm like, okay, but what does it like, what might I be stripped of in the process, or what might I need to let go of that I don't really feel like letting go of right now? So it's like that unknown is like a like this is so funny because it's not really in character for me, but I've been like when I'm praying, I'm like, okay, Lord, I have nothing. So I can't so the other day I was like, I'm going to write a poem and just like do. So anyways, I wrote this poem thing, but I was like, okay, this is how I feel. So it was like going back and forth between like in it, like where am I? I'm surrounded by like a dark forest of gray colors and brambles everywhere, and everything is intertwining, and it's like one big cell with these little cells in it. Like this is what I feel like I am. And then outside, I know there is a space of vast freedom that doesn't even get touched by anything dark. And in it, this is what I feel like. But then towards the end of it, I was like, okay, so, but in it, like the hope is the knowledge of dark edges. Like that's the hope is that there's like some edge of it that I have not seen that touches on the vastness, the vast freedom that's there.
Right.
And it's like, I can't even conceive of it because I'm so in it, but like, there's a hope that it's there. Like, I believe that it's there because I know something about the outerness, but anyways.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful.
I was just thinking when you were saying, Erin, like one aspect or one way of being in between is this experience of healing, which is what your experience that you shared is. But I think, that's true for all of us, no matter what the in between is. There's always, in Sister Miriam's, the conversation we had with her, she said that like healing is always at the heart of what's going on, because essentially, that's what Christ has done for us.
Even in like the practical things, like even in Nicole's waiting for the baby, even in you're waiting for like, it's so all about healing.
There is ultimately about healing.
Because if we're not stagnant, if we're not just living the status quo and we're allowing ourselves to have these new experiences, it's going to challenge us. And then there's an opportunity for healing, because you're saying, oh, Lord, look at all this stuff that's coming up. Okay. How are you going to heal this? Right. Like,
yeah. And that, I think, no, that's exactly. And so I'm like, whoever's listening, no matter what your experience of the in-between is right now, one danger is like, you think you're stuck. And I was thinking of this is such a shout out to so many old episodes that we've done.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of the episode we did with your parents, Nicole, which
Mm.
is like the first season was like the second or third episode, very early
Mhm.
on in the podcast. And it was a very beautiful episode about your mom and her illness. And, you know, if anyone's curious, please go listen. It's really worth it.
It's called The Pain of Waiting.
Yeah, which is
Right.
the, you know, like the in between, really. And
Yeah.
and I remember, and I think I'm going to get the image wrong, but I remember your dad saying something that was very impactful to me. It was like, you think you're stuck because you're like in a you think you're sort of not moving, you know, you're not moving, but actually it's sort of like you're in a train, you're in the car of a train, and the blinds are down, and it feels like you're just kind of rocking around, but just not really going anywhere. And sometimes you have to lift the blinds, be like, okay, no, I am like, we're moving, but it doesn't feel like it because you're just in the same compartment for such a long time, you know.
Yeah.
But you are, and so I think this danger of feeling stuck, it's important to address that with the Lord, like bring that to him, because even if something practical, and I'll say this, like in my journey of my vocation, which has not come to pass yet. So in some ways you could say, okay, I'm in the same place that I've always been because I'm not in my vocation yet. And that's been the case for however long. But in another sense, like, okay, nothing has changed around me, but I have changed so much. So my experience of my life it's not even recognizable to what it was 5 years ago. And I think that's really the interior work, the inner landscape. I love that word, Erin, that you use, like the inner landscape of our lives is really where the most action, you know, that's where things are the most exciting, and there's so much going on, and it really does, it's this integrated reality that when we let the Lord excavate and do those things in us, even if the outside stuff doesn't change, we change, so the outside changes, you know. It's not the same outside. We see it differently, we understand it differently, and I would say we understand it more for what it is. We understand it, reality, in the more real way. We understand things more truly as we let that kind of work happen. So that temptation to feeling stuck, I think that's a real temptation in the in-between. Like you think
huge.
there's no way out. I'm
Well,
never
and
gonna.
Because it's also like our own knowledge of our own minds and our own perception of the world. That just seems like the full reality.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And I remember in our CL group, there's a quote from Father Luigi Giussani in one of his books. I forget which one it is, but he says, like, the most reasonable, the most rational kind of perspective to take on kind of reality is that my perception of reality is not everything, and that something unexpected is quite likely to happen because I am so incredibly finite and I have only a very sliver of a picture of the fullness of reality. And that has always struck me, because once you kind of like say it, you're like, well, yeah, obviously. But like, it doesn't feel like that. My perception of reality feels like I got it. I got it figured out. Like, I see all of the pieces and I know what's going to happen. And this is it. But it's just so we just don't really know that much. So that's incredibly hopeful.
And I think too, because it's like, because it's not even about a situational thing, but it's about a person. Like the fullness of reality is a person, you know? And so even in that, it's like, there is such a temptation to get like stuck in the in-between, in like either navel gazing or looking at the situation and trying to reason our way out of it, or like something like that. Like just, approaching it exactly with what you say, which is like the rationality of our own finite minds. But then actually the like, if we look at the temptations, would be like to believe that God is not good. There's a song, I can't even remember, I think it's called "Is God Still Good?" or I think he is, but like the line from it is like, I'm standing in the desert shaking my fist, is God still good? Oh, I think he is. And it's like, but
that's great.
Like thinking about that, like that, those are all the kind of temptations. So sometimes the stepping into reality is like just the actual act of the will, or like the
Yeah.
telling God, or like the stating things of like, I know I have a father who loves me. And that's like Jesus, like if you're talking about filiation, you know, like all, like all of these
Yeah.
like deep theological concepts of like very practical implications. Like Jesus is always being begotten by the Father. He is always entering into his sonship fully in every moment. And he does that in dependence and obedience. So then for us, there's like a dependence and an obedience. So that's exactly it. It's like I'm making, with an act of my will, I'm choosing to believe that you are my Father and that you love me. Even if my limited view is like,
even if I'm standing at the
limited.
desert, shaking my fist.
Shaking my fist. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I feel like is helpful, or has been helpful for me with that, is do you know the Litany of Surrender?
Yeah.
It's like, it was like it has to do with Padre Pio's like spiritual director or friend or someone like that. Or something, or maybe not. Maybe there's also lore. I don't know. Sometimes Catholic stuff can become
That's true.
Takes a little on a life of its own. But the prayer is really, really beautiful. Of just like, and it's so simple, right? You say it for 9 days, but like there's different meditations each day. But then you say this prayer. I think you say it 10 times each day. But it's like, Lord Jesus, I surrender everything to you. Take care of everything.
Yes.
Or something like that.
I just was saying that the other day to somebody.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was from that though.
Okay. Yeah. It's beautiful. And I just
good.
like, I feel like there's been a number of times in my life where I feel like I'm like, well, I'm looking at the trajectory of my life and I know that this thing needs to happen and my husband needs to do this or I need to do that and and it's just like, okay, wait a second. Can I take a step back and just be like, maybe the Lord is at work here in ways that are beyond my amazing ideas that I think that I have or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's I find it actually a really difficult prayer to pray, and yet there's been so much grace in that to just, and it's because it's all the time we just need some hope. Because just like you're saying, like we get stuck in the in between. Where you're like, well, I guess this is it now.
Yeah.
Forever. Yeah, forever. Sisters of Life always say like those are not the words that God, like I'm never. I'm, you know, it's never going to be better. I'm always exactly stuck here. It's really good to highlight. And I mean, that's a good, you know, maybe I just thought of it like if you're in an in-between, and most people are in some part of their life, there's an in-between, you know?
I feel like we're there until we get to heaven.
Exactly. Yes. That's actually the truth. Yes. It's the truth. We actually are in the in-between until we get to heaven.
There will be always some aspect of our lives that is an in-between.
Yes.
Some things, you know, as not that like what, because I think there's this weird reality where we're like, no, it's not that we're never going to be called to.
Some things resolve. Like
some things resolve or they change or there's evolution or there's fulfillment of things. And yet just by virtue of us also being on earth, there is something to be fulfilled that it will be.
That's right.
That will not be fulfilled on earth.
And God, I think he like there's areas of our lives precisely to that's my mic. Precisely to remind us of that fact that we don't, you know, that we really are on a pilgrimage. Like this is not the end is more than what this world has to offer us, and yet carries everything good that this world, you know, takes up everything good that this world has to offer us. But I was thinking that the evil one knows that, like he knows that this is a temptation for us, and like just to watch out for those kinds of words, like I'm always going to be here, it's never going to get better, and just like recognize that, you know, I remember someone saying, and this is just really helpful, there's always three voices that you're battling with. There's your voice that not battling, then there's the Lord's voice you're hopefully trying to hear, and then there's also, you know, the voice of temptation, the voice the voice of the evil one, not to like freak anyone out, but just to know that sometimes you might have a thought that's not actually like what you really think, but it's a temptation, it's a thought to be rebuked, it's a thought to be rejected. Not every thought that we think, going to Nicole's point, that like my perception of reality is not fully the truth, and it never really it always has to come in contact with more and more the truth to be converted more and more, you know, in that way. But that sometimes there's another voice, and we have to actually kick it out. We have to recognize it and get it out. And then once you do, claim the Sisters of Life also taught us this, like claim the victories that God has given you, because you are in between somewhere, but God has also been victor in your life in other places. And if for most of us, that if we're walking with him, that's definitely been the case. And it's important to remember that, like, I'm kind of feeling lost here, but actually the Lord has given me this, and like I have these things that I can remember and recall and stand on and be grateful for. And, you know,
I love to, like the like if we're thinking about surrender, I'm just thinking about one of Sister Miriam's talks on the healing the whole person thing was talking about like sometimes we have this idea of like, okay, so when I'm healed from this, then it's
Yes.
good. I'll be whole. It'll be done. I'm not
Yes.
going to. So it's actually like I love the like the surrender novena, or like just even asking the Lord for that grace, just to not kind of fall into the mindset of, especially if we're like fatigued in the in between that we're in at the current moment, to not fall into the mindset of like, when this resolves, then I will be good. And then I'll be like, and then it'll be, you know, because that's like
it misses that there might be something that God has for us in this right now.
Yes,
like
that's true
there is
too,
a gift in this.
Exactly.
And it's not just like, this
when
is bad,
done.
and when it's good,
Yes.
then everything will be great.
Yeah,
But it's like, okay, this is really difficult. There's a CL phrase of like what is in this for me?
Yeah.
Like whatever you're going through, to ask, what does God have in this for me?
Yeah. And just like it, even again, like we're talking about, this life is this life. Like we will never be complete in this life. We will never be totally healed in this life. We will never be, you know, and I think that can be also a tactic of the enemy, to think that when, if we get to a breakthrough and we're
there's
like, oh, this is good. And then we realize there's like other stuff there that we're like, well, God is a liar. Like he's holding out on me. He brought me to this place, but it's not good. And I'm still have to work on myself and all those kind of things, you know?
Yeah. There's continual healing and there's continual growth.
Yes.
You know, so that there is momentum. Like we're promised some healing in this earth too. And yet there is this.
It's just, it's a beautiful way to long for heaven, honestly, in truth, because I'm like, there's a part of me that is like, I'm just so tired in this life, Lord, that I really long to just not be tired anymore. I'm like, that will only happen in heaven. Like, that's the only time it will happen, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess in that way, you can sort of be at a greater level of peace too in the in-between, that you're not like frenetically trying to get to the end of whatever this is so that everything is resolved. When you understand like that the ultimate resolution is actually already underway, like it is already happening and will be fulfilled at the end of your life, you know, pray God, then you're like, you can in a weird way rest in the in-between without getting like stuck there. And you can say, because then you can say like, okay, there is something for me here. I'm in the work of being healed. Like I'm just in it right now and I have to receive it. And then that makes me think also of like Catherine Doherty and like the duty of the moment and just embracing the present. You know, because part of the in-between problem, like the healthy thing is longing for heaven, but a longing for heaven is always brings you back to where you actually are. It's not an escapist longing. It's not like, you know, I have to get out of here. And it is kind of a little bit, because I mean, like, you know, persecute.
It can be both though. It can be.
But exactly. I think it has to be both. Like it's not because then the longing, where that longing stems from and where it's kind of met is actually precisely here, because that's where Jesus is with you right now. Like you're longing for Jesus in that full communion, and the taste of that longing is here because he's here with you now. And so it's like it brings you back to the present, you know?
Yeah, because it's good to long for heaven. It's good to long to be with the Lord. Those are really, really good things, right? So then it's just like, well, okay, I'm desiring this. You could be in a place, and I feel like I've been a couple times in my place where I'm just like, heaven sounds real good right now.
Just come take me. Just come take me, Jesus.
Can we just skip all this other stuff and just go straight there, right? And so then it's like, okay, well, that desire can be beautiful and good. And then it's like, okay, but if I'm still here, this means that there is something for me here. There's something hopeful for me here. There is something heavenly for me here. So what is it, Lord? Like, what are you doing? And like being open to that. I think there could be something hopeful in that.
Yeah. And also, we say this, I feel like, in all of our episodes, but whenever we're suffering anything, there's the temptation to sort of close in and not reach out to anyone, not share with anyone. And maybe, you know, you're struggling, you don't feel like you have anyone to share with, but maybe you do. I mean, if someone's listening to this and you're like, I don't have anyone to share this with, I'm like, just challenge you. Maybe you do. Maybe it's your parents and like you don't really love telling your parents stuff, but maybe you can, or maybe you just ask people to pray for you, or, you know, you don't share in detail, but to actually like lean on the church, like, or just the
Mhm.
sacraments, you know, just like don't close up, but
Mhm.
don't kind of, like Erin, you're saying, like the Lord can work
Mhm.
around our defenses. So there are things that we can't help but close up about, but where you have
Right.
agency, where you have some ability to
Yeah.
move, you know, it can just be
Helps to
simple,
talk
like,
about stuff.
Yeah.
or ask
Yeah.
for
Because the enemy
prayers.
always moves, like he always moves in. He wants people to remain in secret, to not share, to be closed up in things, because that's where his lies sound very
Mhm.
convincing. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, that's true. I mean, or the other option is you could just grab a random stranger off the street and be like, listen, I will give you $20 just to listen to me for,
I
for
mean,
an
that's
hour.
like a therapist, except it just costs a bit more.
Yeah, that's right. Except for very irresponsible. Okay, excellent. Okay, so don't do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
And
that's
also,
funny.
like, again, I think don't put like, you don't have to. I realize this sometimes. I don't really want to talk about it, but I can still. Someone can still be with me in it by just in simple ways. Like I can watch a movie with someone, or like get out of
Yeah.
myself, even if
Yeah.
it's not like
Yeah.
the deep sharing. It can just be a
Mhm.
simple, like, what's
It's just
something
nice to be
fun?
with other people.
Yeah, like that I
Yes.
love to do. Can I just like, can I
Yes.
eat a delicious meal with a friend and just
Mhm.
enjoy it or
Mhm.
whatever? You know, that's a
Mhm.
good thing to do in
Yeah.
the between.
We even had, I remember, I'm thinking about like our little WhatsApp chat with us and our secret prayer partner, and there was like don't think we put it for a while, but for like a while, like if one was struggling, you could put like a red heart, and that's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
I just need prayers, like I just
Right.
just so that even something that's like little like that of like,
Right.
blah, I could just use some, somebody with me even in
Yeah.
prayer
Pray,
in this,
please.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it doesn't take the emotional energy of, especially if it's very
Yeah.
taxing for you to be like, oh, here's the inner
Yeah.
landscape of my soggy
Exactly.
heart. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Just be like,
Yeah.
pray for me today for unexplained
Yeah.
reasons. And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
got it.
And then there's a time when you might be at a place where you can like share, and it's
Yeah,
not such
the
a
stuff.
taxing thing, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But to
Yeah.
invite, because communion is always a place of healing. Like, it's
Yeah.
there, like this is what the Lord designed us for, and He said it's not good for man to be alone. So
Yeah.
that's like a foundational thing
Yeah.
of everything, So
Yeah.
in that, yeah. Okay, this has been amazing. Just
Yeah.
basically like therapy for me for like an hour. It's fantastic. I love it. It's so good.
So you could also just start a podcast with your friends
Yeah.
and then do
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
That's another way
That's right.
Talk about suffering.
That's another way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm very excited because Nicole said
Yeah,
that she has
me
a God
too.
wink to share with us, but
Mhm.
we have not heard it yet, so I'm very excited.
Okay. So this just happened yesterday. I hopefully I can tell without like dying laughing.
I'm
So
so
basically,
curious.
okay, so Nathan and I live in a nice little 2-bedroom kind of condo, townhome condo thing. And it's lovely, and it does not have much storage space. And now we're having a baby, and so we're like, okay, we actually need to like have places to put baby things. And so we have a pantry kind of off the kitchen that has our laundry and kind of pantry shelf. And it's just the space it was a lot of wasted space in there. And so from the time we moved in, like a year and a half ago, we were like, okay, this would be great if we could like take the washer dryer and have like a stackable one and then have all this space for pantry shelves, which would be great. And our in-laws like heard us talking about that. We're like, and they're like, well, for a housewarming gift, we would get you a new stackable washer dryer, which is amazing. So shout out to my in-laws for their generosity.
Nice.
So we finally took them up on that, and the washer dryer came this week, and we've put in some new pantry, like just like wired, like, I don't know, some IKEA, like a pantry unit thing, like very simple, but like already so much more space. Great. So last night I got home from work, Friday night, I was exhausted, but I was like, well, I have these little clothes that I want to wash. So I just like was like, I'm going to use the new washing machine. So I threw this stuff in, and while the stuff was washing, I noticed, Nathan and I both noticed, we're like, it looks like there's like these like packing peanuts or like something fluffy like bouncing around in there. No. And like honestly too, and I'm like, okay, so like there's a lot, the old washer dryer that we had were like perfectly good. They were just like a good like not clunkers, like they were just like old fashioned, solid, but I'm like, they're gonna last for another 20 years probably, and like I kind of don't want to get rid of them, but like we really need the space. So now we have it at unit, and there's like some pros and cons to those because whatever. So for me, I'm always like, I don't like risk. I'd rather have just kept our old clunky ones in some ways, but we just absolutely needed this. Like
Yeah.
But there are always little fears in me, like, what if something happens? What if something goes wrong? Anyways, so now that we've got these like things going around, we were like, Nathan was like, well, probably just like paper in a pocket or something. I was like, yeah, probably that was what it was. Okay, so then I opened the washer to take it out, and I realized instantly what it was. It was a boiled egg.
What?
Okay.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
Boiled egg?
Did it stay intact? I'm just like confused. Like, no, it did. Oh god. Oh my god.
Let me collect myself and I can explain.
Oh my god.
That was the last thing on the face of the planet that I have expected it to be.
Okay, so basically, the other week, I had boiled some eggs and I put them in a little like cloth bag and I put them in my work fridge to have as snacks.
Yeah.
And I ate some of them and I forgot there was one boiled egg in a cloth bag, and I found it yesterday at work and I was like, what's this cloth bag? This looks like one of ours. And I looked, I was like, oh yeah, the egg. So I brought it home and I had it on the table. And then like someone had given me some like little baby clothes as a gift. Yeah. And the baby clothes, I like took them off the hanger and they were on top of the cloth boiled egg bag. And I just picked up the whole thing and I threw it all in. So this boiled egg is completely destroyed. And
on
all over our washing machine.
Oh my gosh. All over your new washing machine.
Oh my god.
So I'm also kind of like, I started Googling last night, like, what do you do if you wash a boiled egg?
Was there an answer?
Unsurprisingly, there are no answers. Because no one has done this before.
You need to start a Reddit thing on this, just in case
Nicole,
it happens
you have
to
done
other people.
something that has never been done.
That's right. That's right.
An achievement.
Wow.
I mean, AI was able to give me some answers. It was basically like, well, it'll probably just get drained out, and so make sure you do like a clean cycle after, or you can clean the drain filter. And so I'm like, okay, I don't even know what the drain filter is, but that gives me some hope. But like, oh my god. So yeah, amazing. I took out clothes individually, and a lot of these were like little baby clothes because I'm trying to wash them as I receive them, and just shake out eggshells. And then we hang dried them because we're like, we better not put the eggy clothes in the dryer. Anyway, so I have to go like vacuum out the washer because there's just like little eggshell fragments all over the thing.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
And so
amazing.
My God wink is basically like, I've had all this anxiety about like, okay, if we get a new washer dryer and like hopefully it works, and the first thing I do is wash a boiled egg, and I have no choice but to say, well, Lord, that you figure it out.
Yeah.
Clearly, this washing machine is gonna need
the only thing you can do is laugh. Like
literally oh my gosh.
The only thing. Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
gosh.
What? So that's my God wink.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
That's I'm just gonna.
That's yeah. Yeah. I was thinking. I was literally thinking
100%.
Just in case you're watching, I just showed the.
Yeah,
my Christmas tiny present. Box it's a little tiny box. Yeah. My nephews got me for Christmas. It was go back to our previous episode, and it was the God wink for that, so you can listen to that.
Just to get the story.
It's kind of like Nicole's version of that.
Yep, basically. The Lord's like, oh, you're anxious about your machine? Here, let me allow you in your tiredness to do something utterly wild to it.
Oh, gosh.
Something that has never been done.
That's right.
Oh, my God.
Praise the Lord.
What do you do
everything is just uphill from there.
Well, and now if anyone else is facing this problem who's listening to us, and they thought no one in the world knows what to do. I mean, you're right, but Nicole
I don't know
might
what to do
have
yet,
some idea to share with you.
Guess I'll figure it out.
Follow up on next episode. We'll have to do like a follow up of like, so what happened? How did we clear the eggshell? How did we deal with the boiled egg?
Because also like the amount of egg that I was able to get out of the clothing is like maybe an eighth of the actual size of the egg. So I'm like, there's just egg in here somewhere behind the barrel. I don't know.
It just drained and got obliterated, and
like that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it got utterly obliterated and then just drained out.
Yeah,
like dirt.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know
dirt.
Oh, I love it.
Let us know. Well, I'm gonna want to follow this
prayer
story
for my washing machine.
We will.
Oh man.
Beautiful.
Anyway,
Cute little
All
baby
right, well,
clothes with eggshells.
dear listeners, thank you for joining us for this episode.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Sorry.
I love these conversations. I can't believe you washed an egg. That's hilarious. I don't know what, maybe there's something of eggs. And I opened the fridge the other day and there was a carton of eggs, and my dad had taken one egg that remained from the previous carton and like put it right on the back of, you know how there's like a little divot in the carton in the, so he put it, so I took the new carton out and did not realize there was an egg on top of it, and definitely like dropped it, and it splattered in such a way that it was like, so maybe it's coming
There's
for you,
something-
Rachel.
That's the next thing.
Nicole and I have had encounters with eggs, so
I had
Nicole's
well, and
far
even
funnier though.
I had eggs for breakfast this morning, and then I came up to say hi to Nathan and get dressed or whatever before I got on for the podcast. And I looked down at my house coat and there's like egg on it. And I was just like, I cannot escape.
I can't escape the eggs. Yeah, people are worried about AI taking over the world. Nope, eggs. That's right.
Eggs.
That's right. They're very
Anyways,
sticky.
all right.
Yes. All right. All right.
Thanks,
well,
everyone.
We have no idea when we'll see you, you'll hear from us next, but we're working on it, so it's good.
That's right.
Pray for some fun things. Yeah, and we are praying for you in the meantime.
Yes. God bless
All right.
everybody.
God bless you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of In the Thicket. If you like what you hear, give us a rating and hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to join our community on Instagram and Facebook at In the Thicket Podcast. While you're there, let us know how we can pray for you. God bless, and see you next week.